Tying up another wet fly today from Ray Bergman's book Trout. This is called the Grouse Spider. Kind of an interesting little fly. If you've ever tied any flies that are called soft hackles, also sometimes referred to as spiders or English spider flies. They basically just have a collar of a very soft hackle like this grouse right on this. But in this case, this is more of a wet fly with the tip on the end and the tail. If you were to take at least the tail out of here, I think this would be considered more of just a soft hackle type fly with the chenille body. So that's the grouse spider. I'll get started tying. I'm going to start the grouse spider with my hook and the vise. This is a Mustad 3399 in a size 6. It's a standard wet fly hook. I'm going to debarb the hook and then I'm going to attach my thread. I'm starting out with a 70 denier Danville in white. Now there's an orange chenille body on the grouse spider, so you could go ahead and just use black. Because of that it's an orange body, I'm just going to use the white so it doesn't darken it up at all. I don't think it would be a huge issue in terms of if it did darken up that body. I don't think it would be as pronounced as it would be if, say, it was just an orange floss. But I'm kind of in the habit of starting out with the white anyway on a lot of these flies, so. Now, there is a tip on the orange spider or the grouse spider, and I'm just using a flat metal Lagartun's Tinsel in gold. There's also a rib. I'll use the same for the rib. So with my thread just past the point of the hook, I'm going to attach this tinsel on the side of the hook. I'm going to put in about 6 to 7, maybe even 8 wraps. I want to go down the bend just a little bit because when we tie in the chenille and we wrap in the chenille starting pretty much right at the end of the body here, some of that chenille will, if the tag or the tip is too short, it covers it up. So I'm going to go a little bit further. I'm going to wrap that tinsel forward, touching turns. Here again, the white thread will kind of, if I do have any gaps, won't be quite as pronounced. I get about 5 or 6 wraps in, securing that with my tying thread, a couple of wraps. And then I'll just fatigue that tinsel to where it breaks. There is a tail on the grouse spider, and it is Scarlet. I'm using some goose quill. I've got some red goose quill here. I've cut out about 4 barbs on each side. I'm going to match the tips up on that. I get both of these, get the tips all matched up, and then I'll see that their width is the same. I think I have the one on my side has 1 or 2 barbs a little bit wider. I think it's just 1. Take your time with this. You're going to tie that in. I like to tie these so that they're a little bit long, so I go usually from the front of the eye to about the end of the body. Secure that in on top of the hook shank. Couple, 2, 3 wraps. snug that up so it doesn't turn, and then trim away the excess down the length of the body. As I mentioned, there's a rib, a gold rib on the Grouse Spider, and I'm going to use the same tinsel. I'm going to secure that rib on the far side of the hook, pulling the tag end of that back down into the body, getting one wrap on there to secure that, and then I'm using a Rayon Chenille. This is just an orange medium Rayon Chenille for the body. You could use an orange wool, I think is also a substitute in the recipe. Pull some of the fluff off the ends of this chenille so that I have just the 4 fibers exposed. I'm going to secure that in. Get a little wax on my thread. I'm going to tie all that down as I advance up for the eye of the hook to the end of the body. I want to be careful on this to not get too close to the eye of the hook when you're going to tie in this body. The hackle is just a grouse hackle that we're going to collar right up in the front there, but the chenille is kind of bulky. If you're too close in here, you're going to crowd the eye of the hook. So make certain that you're back just a little bit. Now the rayon chenille, because it's a card material, you can see it gets kind of flattened when it is wrapped in and shipped. So I like to just attach my hackle pliers and then give this a nice clockwise twist to tighten that up a little bit. And that will help give it a nice round body. I want to make certain that first wrap, if needed, goes backward just a little bit, because I want that first one to cover up any thread wraps or anything like that. And notice how some of it sticks out on the back. If we didn't take that tip down there just a little bit further back, it wouldn't stick out. Wrap this in. Make certain you don't go past where your thread is hanging there. I want to make certain I'm leaving enough room up front to collar that hackle, and I'm not crowding the eye. Wax on my thread. Now apply the rib. Just 5 evenly spaced wraps. That 6th wrap comes right up on in the headspace there. And I'll fatigue that tinsel off. And I just realized, well, I probably could have, I could have changed over the black thread. So with the body in, I'm going to go ahead and change over to my black thread. This is Danville 70 denier in black, and I could have done that a little bit earlier after I had the white thread base down, even before I put the body in. I think it's just kind of a habit that usually I get the body and rib in, and then I'll go ahead and change over my thread. So I put a little wax on there, attach the black thread, bringing it back for the hackle, and I can trim away both of those. As I mentioned, the hackle is just some grouse, so I'm using some small grouse feathers, shoulder feathers right here. You're only going to put in a couple of turns because this is a spider fly, and spider flies, often referred to as soft hackles, also have just a small collar of long barbs that tend to be from a hen or from some sort of bird where they're very soft. They have a lot of body to them, a lot of action in the water. They flow and they move. So I'm only getting a couple of turns here. I'm not making a stiff collar. I want to isolate the tip of that hackle. I'm going to trim away the excess, so I've got just a little handle right here to tie in. I'm going to make certain that's tied in, advance my thread forward so I have a smooth tying area or smooth platform for wrapping that in. With my hackle pliers, I will just put 2 wraps, and that's all there really is to this feather. Stroking those fibers rearward. I'll get my second wrap in. There is a little bit more to this feather than that, but that gets my second wrap in. At this stage, I'm really keeping tension on this thread because I don't want that to come unwrapped. You could put in a couple more wraps there if you want to secure that before doing this, but I'm then sweeping everything back. With my thread behind the eye of the hook, I'm wrapping rearward. This is going to form the head of the fly as well as secure the rest of that feather in, and at this point I can pop that off. This gives me a nice pronounced collar. It's wedged right up against that chenille. Careful not to bulk this up too much when you put that head in. Now I'll flatten my thread and I'll put in a whip finish, a little bit of head cement. Then I will put 2 coats of a clear lacquer on there to help protect the head, with the top coat of a nice gloss black lacquer just to polish it off. You can see it could get real easy to crowd the head on these with that chenille right there. Split this tail up here. And again, when you're fishing this, it really doesn't matter because it's all going to kind of split up and go where it wants to go. A little bit of head cement. This fly tight head cement will soak right down in there and it will secure those thread wraps. Then, like I said, a couple coats of a gloss lacquer and then black lacquer, and the Grouse Spider is all done. Interesting little kind of wet fly, soft hackle hybrid. That is the Grouse Spider. Thanks for watching today. Thank you for joining me at the Vise today. I hope you learned a new pattern, at least a tip or trick here and there. If you'd like to help Dress Irons, you can like, comment, share, subscribe, all those wonderful things for the video. You can also head out to dressedirons.com where you can buy flies, tools, stickers, and merch, or you can join a growing community over on Locals at the Dressed Irons Fly Tying Guild. You can also donate to Dressed Irons if you want through the link at the bottom of the description. I thank everybody for their ongoing support, as it really does help the creation of these videos. But what's important is to remember, only fly tying. If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.